Red troops fled before them, and in only 8 days they took Yamburg. In 13 days they took Gatchina and the Tsar's great palace there. In 16 days they took Tsarskoye Selo and dug in 20 miles from Petrograd. Lenin thought it might be wise to abandon the city to Eugenics, but Trotsky insisted on defending it and carried the Central Committee, military order, Red soldiers, commanders, commissars. Tomorrow decides the fate of Petrograd. We retreat no farther. All measures have been taken. The victory is prepared. Forward to the attack. Death to the hirelings of foreign capital. Long live Red Petrograd. Leon Trotsky. After the first moments of panic, Trotsky succeeded in filling the Red soldiers with enthusiasm, says Milyukov. Trotsky mobilized the entire male population of Petrograd, says a white officer. In 4 days, the Red troops were in Tsarskoye Selo. In 14 days, the Kronstadt sailors entered Gatchina and ate soup in the palace court. In 18 days, the army of Eugenics was in full flight. Pursued by soldiers, sailors, civilians, shot, shell, and propaganda. Soldiers of the army of Eugenics, read, listen, think. The Red Army does not fight against workers and peasants. Come over to our side. We will receive you like brothers. Without landlords and capitalists, czarist generals and bureaucrats, our country will live a peaceful and happy life. Death to the czarist general Eugenics. Long live workers and peasants Russia. Leon Trotsky, President of the Military Revolutionary Soviet of the Republic. Military order. All soldiers of the army of Eugenics are dismissed from duty on receipt of this notice and ordered home. All officers resisting the execution of this order are outlawed, and every soldier is required to shoot them on the spot as enemies of the people. Military order. For all weapons delivered to any staff headquarters of the Red Army, the soldiers of Eugenics will be paid in full. Rifle 600 rubles, machine gun 2,000 rubles, cannon 15,000 rubles. Military order. Having lost working time on account of the criminal activities of Eugenics, his demobilized soldiers will retain as their recompense their accoutrement, their horse, and other property needful in peasant life. Military order. From the Executive Committee of the Communist International, I have received 5 banners for presentation to the most heroic regiments of the victorious army. Meanwhile, General Budyonny's cavalry was sweeping the remnants of Denikin's army, now commanded by Baron Wrangel, out of the Crimea. Wrangel has given the command to take to the boats. 14th and 15th, 1920, 126 ships left the Crimea carrying 135,000 enemies of the Soviets. The world is defeated and all Russia is now a Soviet republic. The commander-in-chief takes a day off. Beside him, the staff poet, Demian Biedny. The Red Army lays down its guns and concentrates its forces on the neglected field. Lenin, President of the Republic, will not put on a necktie even to celebrate the victory. Lenin, although now far from well, is happy. Few then realized that Joseph Stalin would subsequently play the leading role. While the Bolsheviks were encircled by the world's armies, sympathizers from all countries made their way underground to Moscow to form the Communist International. Zinoviev, the president of the International, takes the chair. Clara Zetkin, the German delegate, friend of Karl Marx. The Indian Roy and the Japanese Sen Katayama. President Kalinin. The Secretary, Angelica Balabanov, Karl Radek. The Italian, Serrati. The German, Levy. The Frenchman, Rosmer. Comrade Lenin. The delegates rise to greet their leader. Delegate John Reed is standing by the camera in the foreground. The delegates leave the hall after the first session. Notice among them Zinoviev, Radek, Reed. Parley P. Christensen, former Labor candidate for president, is an American guest. He towers over Lenin physically. Bill Haywood, famous leader of the IWW, is a very greatly honored guest. The delegates decorate the graves of the martyrs on Mars Field. John Reed is in front. Lenin is one of the crowd. He addresses the masses, and they greet him as their leader. Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, the genius of the Russian workers' revolution, believed by many to have been the greatest mind and character in modern history. He was free from any trace of personal greed or ambition. He devoted every working hour of his life to the cause of liberating the toiling masses of the whole world from capitalist exploitation. His mind was as flexible as his purpose was fixed. Facts, he said, are stubborn things. We must tell the workers the truth. But he never lost faith in the goal of a liberated humanity, living without war, without nationalism, without class exploitation, in friendliness and decent justice throughout the earth.